All right, guys, this one's going to be leg locks into guard passing. Now, these aren't going to be full resistant rolls, just because of the fact that there's not like these guys know that I'm just trying to pass their guard. And so if your only objective is to not get your guard passed, you can just give up leg locks, you can give up back takes, and you can just never get your guard passed. And so it's pretty easy to avoid, considering they know exactly what I'm trying to do. Where if it's like guard passing or back takes, for example, I can create dilemmas with guard passes or back takes, and I can finish the guy or pass the guard or whatever the situation is. But because they know that I'm only trying to pass their guards, it makes it kind of unrealistic, because then there's no danger from anything else, and they know that they can just give their back up or give their legs up. So this is going to be more of like a flow roll, and we're just going to work through the body movements so you guys can see it being done in real time. Of course, there's competition examples of guard passes to leg, or leg locks to guard passes, but that's when there's other dilemmas of, maybe your leg's going to be broken, maybe your back's going to be taken, whatever the case is, maybe there's other submissions involved. And so this is more about just showing you, okay, here's the techniques we taught, and here are the mechanics and biomechanics of how it actually works, and here's how it will look real time, assuming those dilemmas were real and your partner actually respects the leg locks and respects the back takes and other submissions. So this will be more like a flow roll than anything, but just to kind of show you guys how it would look in a semi-realistic situation. So we start double seated, and from here, he comes into a butterfly ashi, starts stepping back past the hip line, and then Toriano to the other side, and then we move into camping positions to go in and start passing. You see the interface here, obviously, between leg lock defense, leg lock offense, and guard passing. So you see there, instead of backstepping this time, I tried to backstep, I couldn't do it. He has a sticky hook. So instead, because the hook was extended, his right knee was far away from his chest, I pushed the knee forward, and I come around, and he does a good job of bringing the knee to the chest, which he should be able to, so I can't mount him. If his knee and his elbow came away from one another, I would just mount him. So instead, I hit a second forward step. So I go 1. So you see him here. Take my first forward step there. Then hop, 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 and then a second step around. And so now I'm past his hip line on the opposite side. And now from here, we're past the shoulder line, looking to go in and start passing in from north south. So you're going in cross ashi this time, exposing the heel. This time we go in for the waist. He goes to put a whizzer in. Then we use that underhook to go in and start passing into side control. See, we go on offense, and as we go to start attacking, he goes to start pulling the leg out and away, and we use that opportunity to start coming up, splitting the legs, and we end up in our favorite body locking positions. But from here we come up, we use the opportunity to lock the body. This time we're over under. And from here, we have our right knee in inside position. We have the leg split, double split with our legs, and it makes the leg pommeling easy with the body lock to move over and start passing. So he goes to expose my heel, I come up, I get that knee down, like we speak about. Now there was a dilemma between going in and passing his guard, taking his back, but he went to a full inversion. And you see, the only thing that's keeping him inverted is the fact that his leg is between my hips. So from here, I stuff my right hand in, and I sprawl my right leg back, and I hip switch, where You see from here, my left hip drops, my right leg sprawls as my right hip opens. I clear that hook, and I switch back in the opposite direction. And now from here, my right hip drops, and then we pommel hands to the inside, and we pass to north-south. Moving to 50-50, passing the legs through, switching to my knee, coming out and coming down, then using that underhook with the left hand, that opportunistic punch of that left hand underhook in. See, a lot of times as guys go to sit up, start chasing your back from there, they don't realize that underhook is exposed with the right hand. They're on their right side with my left hand, and we can use that to start moving into side control. A lot of times on the opposite side. Or at least getting past my partner's hip line and then going into camping or whatever else, what other kind of passes you want. You see he goes to pass into cross ashi, hiding the heel as always, bringing the knee out and down, and then punching that underhook in, sliding across. Once the knee's free, then it's about making that chest-to-chest connection, and then solidifying our pass. So he tries to go cross ashi, but I don't actually let his left leg flare across mine to actually lock a figure four or get to cross ashi. And so when you see that, if you can back heel adequately, because there's no scoop grip, you can start heisting, and then you can take your right leg forward, take your right knee down, and then you can use a V grip on the ankle to start separating his knee and elbow connection, and then you can start passing your passing game from there. You can move to camping positions, and you can start working into all of your favorite guard passes. You see an opportunistic extraction there. Where he's an Achilles, but it's not the tightest Achilles, so that as my leg extracts, I'm past his hip line already, and it allows me to go right into camping positions, push the knee through, and get into our winning positions. So outside ashi, first thing's hiding the heel, putting weight in the foot, and now from here backstepping, and you use a backstep into camping position. So you see here, unifying systems between leg lock defense, and guard passing. So I stand up. My whole thing is I want to clear that right foot and right knee of his. So you see my hips come forward to push the foot out and away, so that sticky hook is cleared by my hips coming forward. And now I get to 2 V grips. I bring my knee back to the inside, and I switch into camping positions, or now we can start passing. So you got butterfly ashi here. My whole thing is start pinning legs. So we can't lock outside ashi or off balance me with butterfly ashi. So I want to control feet. I want to keep my foot far out and away from his. So you see from here, I control an ankle and the sole of his foot. So when he goes to make any meaningful connection to me, it's hard with the legs. The legs are open. And now my whole thing is going to be from here, is I'm going to take my right hand to stuff his left foot, and I'm going to backstep through the space that's created between the top of his shin here and the bottom of my hamstring. And there it goes. And then I step through that space, and we land in a situation where we're past this hip line. The Achilles grip now is meaningless because there's no ashigarami. And now from here, we can start going in and either camping, or in this case, because he had an Achilles grip, it was hard to start camping. As he went to go bring his knees in and release the Achilles grip, Toreandos came into play. Okay, so you see from here, the whole thing is about disrupting that meaningful connection, as we talk about in Passing 2.0, and then finding ways to pummel through so there's no connection at all. And then once we're past the hip line, past the J point, we can start using Toreandos, camping positions, etc. This time we use the thread of cross ashi. So instead of going into the legs from here, I came up, I shot to an underhook right hand, and from here my whole thing is get his knee, specifically his right knee, pointing away so he can't invert it, and bring his knee and elbow connected. So from here my whole thing is using my left knee and elbow, my right knee and elbow connection to point his knees away. And you see here my right knee and shift of my hips pushes his knees to point away. And now from here, we're past into a leg drag position, and that's the end of that round. Next round with Reese. So you see from there, he had a choice, obviously, to give me his back, but he turned in towards me and accepted the guard pass instead. So you see the threat of the cross ashi elicits a turn from him to hide his heel. And as he goes to turn, I come up, I get to that far hip with my left hand, and that kind of anchors me to him. And now the big thing is to get the right hand tight waist. So if he goes to explode away, I can follow him to turtle position and take his back. Or if he turns into me, then I convert it to a body lock because my left hand grabs his hip. So as he goes to turn towards me, now from here I transition to a body lock. So you see he goes to explode away, the tight waist cracks him down so he can't. So he accepts the pass, and now he ends up with a body lock in bottom side control. This time, coming up from Tapo Shiro position, so we go Rimi Ashigarami, slide up to a Tapo Shiro, and then left hand comes through, we punch that opportunistic underhook in, and now from here we can slide through and pass into side control. Getting a trap grip, putting pressure on him, putting the knee down, getting to the wrist. So see the whole thing is from here. I use that upper body to climb up towards him. I get my knee down to the floor. Then the wrist takes away his ability to start heisting and his ability to start digging for my heel. Put his shoulder down on the ground. And now from here, it's all about making that connection to the upper body through that claw grip, where now from here we can lock the hands, get to his top head and arm, katakatame, depending on where he turns, exposing his back depending on where he turns. And now from here, if he turns away from me, his back gets taken. If he turns towards me, then from here, we can start passing him. You see the leg riding there. Again, we'll do leg riding instructional eventually. But you see, keeping the upper body pinned while I win a leg pommeling and leg riding battle. So you see it's just some of the little nuances here with the leg riding. You just kind of flow through it and not really talk about it. But you see, I keep the upper body pinned, similar to half guard, while I just win a leg pommeling exchange. So you see from here, I pommel my right knee to the inside, I step my left knee over, and then I step to the far hip. So you keep the upper body pinned, you keep the legs pinned by leg riding, and then the guy's just squirming around, can't move anywhere, and then you just work at your pace towards the pass. Putting the knee down and out, and then from here, using that, the transition into an underhook, and then sliding across into side control with under over. So you're always controlling the legs to kind of keep those meaningful connections at bay. So you say I split the legs. From here, he's a strong connection. I split the legs from here, and now from here, I step the forward step all the way through. I just high step my leg out. So that now from here, I'm past his shoulder line and ready to start passing. Now he wants to put himself back in front of me, so that he can create that meaningful connection again. And so I can't start grabbing his ankles as I go through. So I step 1, 2 out. Now I want to start passing the north-south, but he does a good job of re-angling himself to put himself back in front. So he recenters himself. I stop him halfway through, and I get to camping positions, where now from here he can't truly put me back in front, and then I can start passing into side control or forcing half guard or whatever you want from there after you start camping. So you see this time, again, not as common, but it can be done. Where from here, you start the high step, and he hasn't switched to a scoop grip. Now the knee comes down, and the whole thing is, how can I create that chest-to-chest connection? So from here, he has a cross shoulder post. I want to pull myself in through the collar tie, keep my knee down, and then from here, I put that cross face in. I start elongating his body, dragging his knees away from his chest, and then we can start moving into mounted positions. So you see, the whole thing, once that knee comes down, is pummeling that underhook in with the right hand, which it is there, the cross face with the left hand, and now he wants his knees in towards his chest. I want his knees away from his chest. So I step over the knee, and I just drag it away from the chest, and then we can step over into a mounted position. So you see he goes outside ashi, but he gives me a claw grip. He lets my right elbow get inside of his right elbow. And now from here, as I go to pressure forward, I actually switch grips. Or I have a claw. He goes to pommel his hand around, and as he does, gives me the underhook with the left hand. Now I use a head block. Keep his upper body pinned while I win a lower body leg pommeling battle. Same with the Tapo Shiro, I threaten spinning the leg. As I threaten spinning the leg, the underhook comes in, we switch to a head block, and it's all about clearing the legs while the upper body is pinned. Okay, so you see from there, you start off in a situation where he's trying to pummel into my legs and pummeling into his legs. So we have leg lock defense, we have leg lock offense in here. And from here, there's no one really has a position yet. He's trying to enter into my legs. And as he does, I come up, I threaten to go into a leg drag position here. He goes to sit up to start countering that. And as he sits up, he comes onto the body lock, where now I'm flanking him. I can pummel the legs through. I can pass the side control. Also, I said this in leg locks, because we're doing all the commentary right now. I said this in leg locks to back takes. I don't know if I said it here. If I'm like sniffling or sneezing or my eyes are watering, I just got like a scope up my nose, and they numb my nose because I have to get a tonsillectomy. So they like, look, I went to just got that at the doctor's. It's like the top part of my mouth is numb, my nose is numb. I'm like sniffling and like it's awful. So if I'm like sniffling or wiping my nose, it's because I'm not sick. I just went to the doctor's and I can't feel my nose, the top part of my mouth. So sorry about that. So you see there, anytime that there's exposure of the waist and the lower back comes off the floor, you're close enough, that's your opportunity for body locks. So we go cross ashi, he has to start turning out. As he does, I go to the far hip. That gives me the ability to come closer to him, and now that right hand punches to a tight waist. So now if he tries to move away from me, he can't. If he moves towards me, he comes onto a body lock, and my legs are flanking his, so we have perfect pass into side control. Disrupting that meaningful connection, backstepping through, and then moving into our camping position to go into our eventual pass. And that was the end of that round. All right, next roll here. We got Luis going into my legs. And we're going to look at coming up and trying to initially get the knee to the floor. So this is what I mean with this kind of a timing thing and just knowing when to use which move is appropriate for the given scenario. So you say I try to come forward, but his Achilles grip and his cross shoulder post don't allow me to get my knee down to the floor. So when I realize I'm putting too much resistance into trying to put my knee down to the floor, that's not the correct option. And then from here, it allows me to just say, okay, I'm just going to stand up, I'm going to disentangle the legs, and then we're going to start passing standing instead of trying to pressure forward into the guy. You see the second I backstep, he goes to recover, I disentangle the leg, he goes to recover, and then immediately I tori on the back to the other side, get past his hip line, and start my passing sequences. So you see he's pommeling here. We move through a couple different leg positions, and then we end up in outside ashigarami. As we end up in an outside ashigarami, you see my knee is almost free. So you get a little bit of leg lock offense here, a little bit of leg lock defense, and then you get some guard passing as well. So we're in outside ashigarami. I use my right foot to expose his hamstring, extract, and then I switch to a post ashi with my left leg. And now from here, the danger is I can throw my leg over and start attacking his left leg with my left arm for an inverted heel hook. So he wants to naturally sit forward and try to peel my foot off and grip fight and things like that. So as he goes to sit forward, I change pace. I come forward, and I use that post ashi to convert into a leg drag position. And I use that far side underhook, that head block, and from here, I can push his knees away from me and go into passes. You see here, he's going in, and you see I try to come forward. And this is the beauty of trying to come forward into guard passes. At the bare minimum, it gets the guy to stop thinking about attacking you. So if you want to, you can just recover and just go back to a neutral position, extract the leg, and just go back into a neutral position. And you can also, if you fail coming forward, like I did here, so I try to come forward with the collar tie, but his knee is between myself and him. His knee is wedged in between our chest, so I can't get chest to chest. So I realize I fail from here, so I try to shove the leg across into a leg drag, but his foot gets caught, and I say, okay, well, I'm not going to pass here. His back's on the floor. There's no waist exposure. I can't underhook. I can't body lock. So I'm just going to go back in and start attacking his legs again. So whenever you fail coming forward into a pass, you can always just extract the leg most of the time, or you can sit back and re-palm the legs, just as you were before. And so now this moves us into more leg locking exchanges, where now from here, I can come up, I can shoot that far underhook in, that far side underhook in, off of that initial cross-ashi threat, and then as that underhook comes in, you can point the knees away. So my whole thing is once the underhook comes in, point those knees away from you. And now as you do that, you can go in and start passing. Is he trying to come forward here? He actually lets go the Achilles grip this time, and then that cross face allows me to flatten him out to punch in an underhook as I'm pommeling the legs. So there's two battles going on, one at the lower body, one at the upper body, and then I start passing. And now from here, notice that I'm passing to Luis's left side, and I have a left arm underhook. So left arm cross face rather. So if I pass to that side, then he just uses his right hand underhook to bump me forward and then expose my back, or the bare minimum create a scramble and possibly recover. So from here, before I pass, I keep the hips pinned, and notice I switch from a cross face to with my head on the opposite on this side, and I put a near side underhook in with my right hand, and then I make a center line shift with my head to pass from one side to the opposite side, and then I can successfully pass with that near side underhook. And now his underhook with his right arm, if he were to use it, would be a lot less effective because I have an underhook on the opposite side. So just a little change in head position and gripping before I went into the pass there. That's pretty important when you're talking about guard passing. And again, you see the link between leg lock offense, leg lock defense, guard passing, and then eventually back takes. Knee comes down here. And you see from here, this is important too, I didn't quite punch the underhook in with my right hand, okay? So you can count, if you're going live with someone who's fully resisting, you can count on the fact that the second you drop down, they're going to try to bump you forward. So I sit to my right hip so that when he goes to bump me forward, the underhook doesn't come in as strong. I don't get pushed down to my hands in a turtle position. So I initially come down to my right hip, and then from here, as he goes to bump me forward, I move from a situation where I cover the hips with my left elbow to a situation where my left elbow is inside the hips, and I move to a camping position because I'm anticipating his ability to bump me forward and to use that underhook. And when you switch to a camping position, it kills the underhook, and then you can start your passing, forcing half guard, getting chest to chest, moving to north-south, whatever you want from there. So here you see the importance of change of intensity. So relatively relaxed. And then the second I feel like I'm going to go, I shoot forward like I'm shooting a shot. So that underhook punches me in, the underhook pulls me in, and now from here I'm pulling with the right hand, I'm thrusting the hips forward, I'm posting off the left hand, and that shoots me forward towards him, allows me to lock the hands. Now the legs are split, now we pommel the legs, and we can pass with a body lock. So you see the change of intensity. This is kind of a sensitivity and timing thing. You'll learn it over time, where you're relaxed, and then right when you're ready to go, you change intensity from relaxed to explosive, or from explosive to relaxed, vice versa. You can change the intensity, and that can give you opportunities that you wouldn't normally have if you were only operating at one speed. See, same kind of thing there. Very relaxed. I use the opportunity of the pommeling to pull my leg free. So I hit a quick heist. And as I heist, he's reaching forward to try to pull my leg through and expose the heel, but his waist is exposed. And as he goes to reach, my left hand pommels inside. It gets to a tight waist. Now my whole thing is to make sure his knee doesn't come in as a wedge between my chest and his chest. So from here, I bury my head down towards his far shoulder. I start collapsing to get chest to chest, and then I pommel my leg up and over his, so I can start moving forward, getting to the upper body, and going into passes. You see there? I want to disrupt that meaningful connection. So right from here, I control that one leg. I backstep. Now, one leg's connected, one leg's not. So I have to disrupt the connection of his left foot. So you see here, he has a sticky hook in place. I hip forward, and thrust my hips forward. That exposes the foot to my second V grip. And now from here, I can start passing, feinting, passing north-south, Toreando back to the other side, go to camping, whatever you want from there. So you see there, use the opportunity to heist, to pull my leg free. And as I do so, always reaching for the upper body. So boom, there's my claw. He's trying to control two legs. There's my claw. Then I start coming forward. Then I get to the far wrist to put him down to his shoulder. And now that he's down to his shoulder, now I can start passing. Standing up, forward stepping, and then using the chain of that forward step from 50-50 into a Toreando back to the other side when you feel his knees are pointing towards you. So you see from here, he goes to recover. His knees are pointing so far towards me on this side that there's an easy route behind him on the opposite side to start my Toreando game and go into passing on the opposite side. You see again the change of intensity where he's trying to go in for my legs. We're playing a pommeling game. I'm down on my butt, playing pretty lackadaisical from here. And then the second I come up, he goes to sit up. And then boom, I shoot the underhook in, body lock comes in, and then we're ready to start passing. So it's relax, relax, relax. And then when you're ready to go, it's like a shot. We shoot to the waist and cover the distance. And then we can start working on our passing. Knee comes down. From here, we didn't have an underhook, so we started camping. So the knee comes down, you want to punch an underhook in. If you don't have an underhook, you don't want to come onto his underhook. So instead, as you go slide through, he goes to punch an underhook in, and you just shorten the elbow, you move to a camping position, then you start going to work from there. Okay, and that was that round. All right, last round with Mr. Fernando. So you see here, same story. Second leg stays far away. We disentangle the legs, we backstep, and then we use either a pass on that side or a Toriando back to the other side to go into our guard passing work. Threatening of the roll through. So as he goes to roll through on the heel hook, maybe the knee slips out. So as he goes to roll through, he goes to scoot away. You change pace, and immediately you come up, and you look to start punching those connections to the upper body, where you have underhooks, body locks. Now you're chest to chest, and you can start a leg pommeling game to go in and start passing. Coming up top of Shiro from here. Punching in underhooks. And then passing out and over to the side. See a little repommel, and then again changing pace. And the worst case scenario, you don't get chest to chest, you can go back into attacking the legs, or you can just heist up and get back to neutral. So you see from here, I just whip the leg back. There's no Achilles lock. We're pommeling through transitions, and I immediately lunge forward. Right hand comes in as a deep tight waist, then left elbow goes inside, and I can start tight waist passing. Stepping over, switching to body lock, passing however you want from there. So you see here, it's 50-50, passing the legs across, putting the knee down and out, now sitting on the hips. Now as he goes to sit up, punching that underhook in, and then moving out into side control. So you see here, he actually spun away and gave me his back on that one. So this is why I was telling you, like, the ukes kind of have to be cooperative here, otherwise it turns into other instructionals. But if he would have turned towards me, he would have gotten his guard pass and not his back taken. But I ended up taking his back because he just instinctually went to go turn away and avoid the pass. And the leg attacks, obviously. You see the change of pace here. So he's trying to pommel into my legs. I extract the leg by pulling the elbow. And as I extract the leg, immediately change pace, shoot up, underhook comes in, and now we can start our passing. So you relax, everything's focused in one area, you're attacking your legs, and then boom, you change speed, you change pace, you change direction, and you come forward, getting chest to chest. You see forward stepping there, just instead of back stepping. Forward step, jump forward, high step out of the Achilles, and now you're past the shoulder line, north-south camping, and then you can start passing from there. Again, see, same thing. See the immediate change in pace. The second I feel like I can extract my leg, move into a heisting position. The second we're here, immediately I come forward, I shelf the leg, and that left hand punches in, moves to a tight waist if he goes to move away from me, now the back's exposed, or if he turns towards me, the pass is exposed. So you see the immediate change of pace from attacking the legs to coming forward and attempting to get chest to chest or chest to back. So you see here again the importance. The second the leg extracts, it's pretty low pace. And the second the leg comes out, now it's time to go. Again, disrupting the connection, bringing the hips forward, and then feinting a Toreanda back to one side, and then passing back to the original passing side. So you see here, I'm gonna start passing, I feint a Toreando, and then I move back and start passing on the same side. So you see the interplay here between leg lock defense and leg locks into guard passing, and just passing 2.0 in general. You see again, extracting the leg, changing pace, moving to the back, moving to passes. Standing out from here, bringing the hips forward to expose that ankle. See, bent over, hips pop forward, I expose that ankle. Now I can start backstepping and playing a game from here. And that's the end of that round. So you see from here, it's all about, getting the upper body connection, getting chest to chest, making the cranial shift if you're passing the side control of north-south, side control or mount, or moving in situations where you're camping north-south, and you can come forward and get chest to chest. And you see a lot of it is sensitivity, timing, and changing of pace, where you're focused on one area, where you're leg locking, you're pommeling, you're attacking, you're defending, and immediately you change pace, you change direction, and so their focus is still down in the lower body, and you change pace, and you lunge forward, you get to the upper body, and you work your way into chest-to-chest positions. And that's ultimately what we want to go into passes from here.